They switched suppression so it doesn't affect accuracy. You just sway. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the thing right now. Hold on. Do they actually have a section on here what they said about it?
Yeah, somewhere towards, I don't know if it's the middle of the box.
Yes,
it's a long post, yeah. But it's like,
fire.
it doesn't actually affect your accuracy. I think the screen still blurs, but you sway, and in their words they say so skilled players will still be able to stay on target.
Yeah. Like I said, it says we're redesigning it based on your extensive feedback while keeping the intense feeling of being under fire that system like suppression provides. Extensive feedback, huh? It's probably like more like, we hate this.
Yeah, pretty much. We hate this.
You know how extensive feedback.
That's like that politically correct spin on it. I mean, all I gotta say is if it doesn't work this time, just quit. Leave it, like keep the blur and just leave it alone. Because it's gonna get too complicated. Like, what are they gonna do if sway doesn't work?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
To me, I hate when they're testing stuff with the main game. Let's say, like they did in Battlefield 3, right, with the suppression, when they overcompensated, when they made it too strong and nothing made sense. And then we had to wait how many months before the next patch came out before they could actually dial it back to somewhat normal, or at least make it a little bit weaker. And it's like, who wants to go through that again? You know what I mean? I don't want them to say, hey, well, we got this wrong with the sway, so now we got to do this with the sway. Then you got to go do this and do this and do that. Maybe they want to do that to keep the game interesting and different and changing. Who knows? But I'm not looking forward to that part about it. I mean, like I said, I'm too competitive to say, hey man, I love factors that out of my control that affect my gameplay. Like, well, if we're going to do that, you know what I mean? Let's factor in sweat and fatigue, and let's factor in this and this. Let's take everything into it then, right? Let's say my guy's just older. Maybe he just gets tired sometimes. Like, how far are we going to go with this realism thing now? You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm kind of with you on that. Like, if they can't get it working on this one, just leave it alone. You know? Yeah,
that's like, I don't know. Like, if you just can't get it to work, then it just ain't meant to be. It sounds good on paper, but if it don't work, I say just leave it alone. You know, I don't complain when I go back and play Bad Company 2. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's Battlefield series has been doing fine without it. The only thing I think suppression should be, or at least suppression effect, you know, not necessarily suppression fire, but the only thing I think it should be effective, like if a tank is right next to me, I'm in a building, it shoots that building and it blows up, I can understand me being blurry and dazed for a few seconds. Like, that makes sense to me. Or if a guy shoots a rocket at me, you know what I mean? Based on something that can, but if a guy has a pistol, a light machine gun who's, 20, 30, 40 meters away from me, I don't want to be suppressed and all those other things. Or if a guy's right in front of me, I can't shoot the guy right in front of me, but I'm supposed to be this trained soldier. I can't just
conditioned and all that.
Yeah, he's like, man, the bullet just messes me up sometimes. I get blurry and start crying, and all right, it takes some of that competitiveness out of it for me anyway. But
I see that. I see that. Okay, the next thing on my mind is the C4 thing. Thanks to feedback from the community, support class keeps C4. At first it was just going to be recon that has it, and the point of that was that I thought there were people that complained about support being able to just reload, so they fixed it, and then there were people that complained about that, so they fixed it back. Like,
wait a minute, they did both?
Yeah, like in the beginning when the game first came out, support did not have C4.
Okay, yeah, no. See, I heard about that. That was my understanding of from going.
But then with this post, because of community feedback, now they do have C4.
Man, that's
like okay. So the community complained about not having it, and then they complain. Like, we didn't get to play the game, so
how would we know
about it again?
Yeah. I mean, I wish. The problem is though, like the community is really probably like a small minority of people who are on battle law. You know what I mean? Who flame and say things like that. So, like, I hate that part. Like, trust me, I was not invited to that conversation. I wish they would have. If they're talking about, we got this from the community, please point us to a direction where they say, hey, this is where we're taking all suggestions. You know, I don't want to skim through every freaking message board trying to guess on which one of these is the support thing. You know what I mean? Like, which one pertains to whatever features they're adding. But I don't know. That's so they actually they didn't have it at first, and then they complained. They put it back in there. So
people, I guess they got feedback, as they call it, so they brought it back. But then recon, because they brought back what they called the spec ops way of playing, you can be recon and you know it was in a Bad Company too also, where you can run carbines, the all access kits, and then they can also hold C4 and claymores and run gun on gun with the carbines. But from the way I read it, it was you can only use the C4 with recon if you're running the carbine, the everybody guns. You can run it, but you can't. I mean, they didn't say that, but the way they made it sound, if it's like Battlefield 2, then you shouldn't be able to do it with the sniper rifle. So there's that. I don't know how people feel, but I don't know. Like I was telling you earlier, to me, the way the direction they were going was each class kind of had their own stuff that the other people couldn't use.
Yeah.
So like if I needed C4, we knew that Brandiddy was support, so we had to call on him for C4. So now it's like 2 people can use it.
It takes away that sort of squad teamwork. It's one hand. It's like I see what you're saying. Like it's. I don't like the fact that we're making it only 2 classes. Then go ahead and let the engineer.
Yeah, like if I can, why just depend on like just give everyone it so I don't have to.
I think the engineers primarily should have it. Honestly,
yeah, agree.
I think he's supposed to be the guy who takes out the vehicles, repair the vehicles, dispense, give him the demolition stuff, give him all the things to take out the vehicles too.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I'm like, hey, just go ahead and go back like you. Bad Company 2, Battlefield 2, just go back to that way where, like, if you want the C4, you just have to give something up in place of it. So,
yeah, that's how I feel about it. So
I don't. Yeah, it takes away the unique team experience where, like, this one guy is supposed to be this guy is supposed to be that one. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm glad that they did give Recon something else.
Yeah.
Other than what they had, so now they can have some sort of more bigger impact when you're doing or pushing on a MCOM or something. But
yeah,
it sucks that they had to actually go back and give support there, because my biggest fear is not that I don't like support and I hate this or whatever that. It's just those situations where you're playing in a close quarter situation or you're playing rush and you have the support guy just sitting on an ammo kit and just putting C4 either in doorways or claymores and just blowing it up, and then he gets revived and he blows it up again, gets revived, or he's suicide bomb. Like I get that it's fun to troll with, I get that, but man, it's such an annoying feature when you have more than one person doing that. For me, it's Metro gameplay when people do that on the stairs. It's like, why are you doing that in locker rooms and just running around?
We'll just back out like we usually do. So.
Yeah. It may not be as a big issue on other maps because they're more spread out. But I just the support guy on putting them on MCOMs like that. Like, do you really need to get kills? That's the way you got to get kills, man. But
I guess that's a good point though. Now we got more players. What's gonna be classified as Metro map now? Because how they build the maps could fix everything that bothers us a little bit, I guess.
Man, we should be able to just flatten that whole place. I mean, just go ahead and if you're talking about levolution, all this stupid level demolition and all this other stuff they got coming out now, let's go ahead and just say, if I want to blow this wall out, blow the wall out. I don't like the setup spots. Like if they're blocking these 2 access points, let me create my own access room. You know what I mean? A way to get into certain things. So they can't hide behind stuff and do that kind of cheesy stuff. So but, I mean, a part of me is like I've seen videos of 32 man or 64 players on Metro. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that, but maybe 32 and 32 or 16. 16 might be better, but I don't know if I want 12 people using grenade launchers or something like that. Shooting me in the locker room, you know what I mean?
That would be like fun the first time.
Yeah.
Then you'll be over. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what the new 64 players experience is going to be for, console players anyway. So yeah, I mean, I guess wrapping that part out, I guess about the recon and stuff like that. Man, I mean, I think they should just go ahead and keep it all kits and let you swap out stuff, accordingly, because of all that stuff, I just feel like the engineer guy's getting the short end of the stick as usual. I mean, his guns usually don't do the most damage, on maps that don't really have that many vehicles. He doesn't really do anything else to help the squad out.
They'll probably upgrade the repair tool. It'll probably be something different this time. In Bad Company, it was a drill, and then in 3, it was like the little fire thing.
Torch, right? Yeah.
So they'll probably change it to something else. A wrench.
Clock somebody over the head with a wrench, right? That'd be hilarious. half the team be Russian, half the team
That would
be
be
this.
so
That'd
confusing.
be
Like,
wicked
yo, I
weird.
think it would be hilarious. Like, imagine if you were with your buddies or whatever, and you press it back, and the Russian's like, "Goodness, Nina," and then the Chinese guy's like, "Koyeza,